gonna say, got it. Slideshow.
You say candles.
All right, people, it is time. The recording, you see the little green around the speakers. This is 3612.3. And if you've ever been through Ignite, which I think a lot of you have, or if you've ever been to Bold, which I think a lot of you have, or this is right on the same lane. It is a combination, kind of like Ignite, because we've got guest speakers throughout the entire thing. Also like Ignite because there's a lot of exercises and things like that, but it's a little bit more bold because it's a higher level. It's a higher level than Ignite. It's kind of like, I think of Ignite as kind of like first grade, second grade. Okay, this is like junior high, and Bold is like high school. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it might sound silly to go in that progression, but I just erased Dan Holt's 6 personal perspectives, and you're gonna get some of that material in here. If you didn't go to 6 personal perspectives, this will sound new. Some of this will be a little bit of a recoup, but you have me today, so it's a little bit different. And I would love it for us to say that there's 3 different types of people that come to a class. There's the explorer, somebody who's like all in. Right? You say, I'm all in, Tim.
All in.
And then there's the people that are the vacationer, right? And those would be like, at least I'm not doing work at the office. At least I'm not there. I'm going to learn as much as I can. Great. But, and then there's the people that are kind of like, I was told to be here.
You're pretty hard right now, Tim.
I can safely look at Christians sometimes. And we will partner up a little bit here and there. We will I'll have you turn around or, look to your neighbor or stuff like that. But there's a bunch of activities we're going to do. And if you guys would help me, who in here is really good at reading aloud? Anybody in here that's really good? 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. If I can ask somebody, I'll have you, because I'm going to run out of my voice because we're going to go so fast. So if you guys would help me read some of these, that would be fantastic. And I don't know why that chat thing is there again. Oh,
Someone's talking to you.
Your volume is good. Okay, good. All right. All right. So 3612.3. Do we know what it means yet?
36 transactions, 12 months, and 3 hours a day.
Perfect. Did everybody hear that? 36 transactions in the next 12 months, 3 hours a day. That's basically what it represents, 3612.3. Anybody in here not want to do 36 transactions? Okay, perfect. Then you're in the right class, so this is good. All right. So in this session, this is the Power of One by Gary Keller. There's the 9 myths and truths of lead generation. That one's a pretty fun section. And I was telling some of the people that got here really early, there's about 80 pages worth of material that we're going to attempt to cover today. I will not succeed. It is literally like 3 hours minimum for the first session from the instructor manual. I've taken this class one time. It was about 6 years ago. And it was one of the more powerful classes I had ever taken, kind of like I said, Bold or Ignite or whatever. But we're going to look at this, the real estate productivity roller coaster. That is, I call it the EKG, and I'll show you why. But I would say the roller coaster is a typical phrasing to be used there. To be wired to win, you must be wired for leads. I like that one. Training, implementation, and accountability, putting it all together. So this is kind of what we are going to do today. There is a couple exercises. We'll have some fun with it, especially hopefully if we have time. There's ground rules. Arrive on time, obviously you're already there. Form groups quickly, we just talked about it. Be fully present, we just talked about that. Respect reality of time and participation. Definitely, keep your comments concise so that we can move through it quickly. Everybody learns a little bit differently. Respect everybody's learning styles, but don't be an oversharer, all right? Say, I commit to not oversharing.
I commit to not overshare.
There we go. And then respect confidentiality, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Because you're with me. Can't be with me and not have fun. So accountability methods. There's lead generation action plan. That means you're going to set a goal to then do the key activities so that you can measure the results. Then you're going to evaluate the process, and then you're going to make adjustments. This is called the accountability feedback loop. So you just kind of keep going around this as you grow in your abilities with lead generation. And believe it or not, that's the power of one. The one that we're going to learn a lot about today is lead generation. And there are many different styles. There's many different ways. We're going to talk about them. But I would say that I want to get through down to the nitty gritty of why it is that we don't do it a lot of times. Because if we can overcome kind of the root, then that'll heal the whole tree in a way. All right. So why are you here? Avoid the real estate productivity roller coaster. Commit to focusing on the one thing, which is lead generation. Challenge yourself. The goal is 36 transactions, like we said, 12 months, 3 hours every day on lead generation. Are you ready?
I'm all in.
All right, let's get started. So that's all the framework in the beginning. And if you print it out, did anybody actually print out all 80 pages or whatever? Okay, good for you. You at least have it digitally, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you have it in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, we will not cover all of it. It's going to be impossible. And so, yes, we are here. Introduction, the power of one. These are the key foundational principles: validity and positioning, prospecting, marketing, leveraging a database, and then all this other stuff to come later. So these are all the sessions, all 11 sessions, and kind of how they structure your business, right? Your business is like a structure. And very similarly, I actually teach a class I had created myself called Build Your Island, because if you have a tiny little island, how long can you live on it? But if you build a big island, which is your business, if you build a large island that captures water, the wind going across the ocean, you can survive on a big island, right? So, introduction, power of one, there we go. And, what will make this a great training? So at the beginning, before class started, I asked all of you to kind of write down something that you wanted to get from today. Who's willing to share a couple things? What do you want from today? Yes, Christian.
So I want to learn how to be most effective with my time and the best ways of all of the lead gen.
Perfect. Okay, love that. We will definitely be covering that.
Improving systems to increase our new high, like in Emory's A.
Your new high?
Well, in Emory A, it says you
Your
hit a cap and then
Oh.
you,
ceiling.
Okay, your ceiling. Yep, and break through into a new ceiling. I like that. I like that. All right, what else? What else did you write down?
I wrote down that I want to help Elise stay more accountable and get her to make these commitments.
Truly, except for the fact that she should be here with you.
She's
Elise, I'm giving you a hard time. This is being recorded. This is being recorded, Elise. Your partner in crime is here and you're not. Okay, well, I love that. I will say it is a commitment. You kind of have to look at each other and go like, literally, I can't say this, it's being recorded. Let's just say that I had an extreme amount of accountability where I couldn't leave my office. I had to give somebody something that I couldn't leave my office without. And so I literally had to get my 3 hours done every day. Does that make sense? So it is a commitment. And so it's extreme. What else? Anybody?
Get some direction for the next couple of months.
Yeah, we will definitely, you will have a very clear direction by the end of today.
A restart or a new beginning.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. See, this is good. A new beginning. Who cares what was last? Guess what? It can start again right now with a whole new commitment, a whole new fire, a whole new passion on the next phase. Cool? Because really, I mean, Gary talks about the power of one, and he says this. He said the power of one achievement formula is based on the principle of greatest leverage, which is the most important thing, the timeless truth, the one thing begets another. Have you guys ever heard that? One thing begets another? Like the domino effect. If you guys have ever read the One Thing book, that's basically the premise, is that you line up the dominoes and then you only have to flip over one and one thing begets another. We're going to talk about that. Achievement. So the power of one, but you have principles of greatest leverage. There are these two things, and the timeless truth of the one thing begets another. These two things go into the power of one to actually give you the achievement. Gary's always writing little models, right? He's always putting imagery with the concepts. All right. Now, in the book, The One Thing, there's something called the qualifying question. Does anybody know it by heart yet? It's a good one.
What is it?
I don't know every word.
Oh, yeah, she's got it.
Almost. Say it louder.
Oh, well, I don't
Okay.
know by heart. I'm on.
What is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? That's the qualifying question. And it can be blown by unless you get, if you give it its appropriate amount of respect, that question, it can change everything. Like, what's the one thing that if I did it today would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Having the new plan, she said. That was one thing she said. I wanted to have the new plan. You can, right? Now, having that new plan could literally be it. The principle of greatest leverage. So remember, there's actually a graph that says it shows the normal person's day, and then it has another one like two circles, right? And then it shows a high achiever's day. And so the normal person's day, it has a tiny little sliver, and it says doing what matters most. And then the high achiever's day, literally like half the day is doing what matters most. But what's doing what matters most? What matters most, everybody?
Lead
Legion.
Lead generation. What matters most, everybody?
Lead
Generation.
Lead generation. And Gary would say, and this is really important because some people hate lead generating. If you hate lead generating, raise your hand. I don't like it. I don't like lead generation. So I'm going to change your mind for a second because leaders help others how to think to get what they want when they want it. Leaders help other people think differently to help them get what they want when they want it. And so you're not going to spend it on lead generation time. Lead gen. Ew. No. How about you change that and you say this is relationship building time? Because honestly, your people want to hear from you. The people that know you, love you, and care about you should be hearing from you. How often?
36 times
36 times?
a year.
Maybe.
More.
What does the MREA say? 32, right? And there's a systematic way by which you touch and get into connection, right? Those call them a touch campaign, right? But guess what? It's really just building relationships. It's really just checking in on everyone. Everybody should be hearing from you in different ways that come from a place of contribution. So shove lead gen away and bring out relationship management, relationship building. That's really what it is. And there's a lot of people that what the MREA says you've met. There's a lot of people you've met, and then there's a lot of people you haven't met. Who do we want to touch base with? Both of them. Yeah, both of them. You want to meet new people you haven't met, and you want to connect with and build up the people you know. All right? So the 80-20 rule is basically, I'll go back to that for a second. It was basically a different way. Rather than a circle, it's that 80% of your activities don't give you, well, and I would say 20% of your activities actually give you 80% of your results. So if it's the one thing, which is lead gen or relationship building time, and you time block the heck out of that, like we're going to talk about, then it gives you the bigger results. All right. So one thing begets another. Who can read this for me? Boom.
Once you master one thing, it makes achieving mastery of the next related thing easier. By doing the right things first, you create momentum in your life and in your business. The truth explains why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Okay, so if you're an administrator or if you're a team member and you're trying to get your mega agent to do what they need to do, you have to tie the activity to the result they're going to get. Because if you don't, you will let each other off the hook or they will fight you and then it sucks. So like Lindy, I was just thinking about you. Luckily, Doug Lutz, who's, obviously a mega agent in our office with Owner's Choice upstairs. Lindy, you do all this stuff, but you kind of need to have Doug get on board with doing his lead gen time. Luckily, he kind of does it automatically throughout the days of wherever he goes. He's always talking to people. He's a very normal mega agent because having that be purposeful time, how hard is it to get him to sit down and do purposeful time, Lindy?
Doug never sits down. So yes, his lead gen time is when he's in the car. And then actually this morning, I just put 2 Post-it notes on his computer that told him that these are the 2 people he had to call today. So that's how he does his lead gen.
100%. And that's exactly the way it was for me. So I'm just gonna say Elise is very similar to that. She does a lot of lead gen and all of her other community activities she does. And yet she gets a lot of leads, doesn't she? Yeah, but they're kind of like from her database mostly, right?
Yeah, it's just tracking it.
Tracking it is hard, especially when you have a partnership. And we are the company of teams. And so it makes it very difficult to kind of understand how all that stuff happens. Jason Massengale, he's so active in his church and his community and giving back and doing all these cool things that and he's been around for so dang long that it really has created a momentum that propels him forward. It's kind of like the wind is always blowing through his sails at this point. But let me tell you, this is really important. He's been an active member of society. Elise has been an active member in society. Doug has been an active member in society for years of being connectable, trustworthy, and respected for years before getting into real estate almost. And then all of a sudden, they become the instant reliable resource for real estate. For anybody that hasn't lived here forever, doesn't have a massive database, hasn't had a huge church involvement community, guess what we've got to do? Build that from scratch. This is not part of the curriculum, but this is really important. You guys ever heard that great quote? If you want to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. You ever heard that?
No.
Truly, how would you make an apple pie from scratch? First, you need apple trees. But if you were making it from scratch, you'd have to make the apple trees, wouldn't you? And in order to make apple trees, you'd have to invent seeds. And in order for the seeds to go into something, you'd have to invent soil and sunlight and water. Does that make sense? You kind of have to look at it where if you are building it from the ground up, if you're building it from nothing, you literally have to put in this amount of time and take that level of severity in your heart. I'm going to give you a lot of passion today because I want your success. And it's really going to take that level of mindset. It's like, I have to do this. When I was getting into real estate, luckily I had my mom who had been in it for a couple of years. So she knew the contracts and stuff. But all I did all day was work on the database and go get people. That's it. I didn't even know what I was doing. I would literally talk to people and I'd be like, hey, have you seen rates recently? And they're like, what do you mean rates? I'm like, like housing rates. And they're like, no. And they're like, yeah, it's dropping heavily. Was it 5.25 yesterday? It's literally at less than 5 right now. It just broke 4 for the first time ever. And they're like, wow. And they're like, oh, you must be in real estate. I go, yeah, I just got into real estate. And, my mom and I are a team. And we just talking in the grocery line. What is that? It's lead generation. But guess what? If you be purposeful about it, if I had done this in the very beginning, it would have been, instead of me doing this, where if I lined up the pins of bowling, like bowling pins, if I lined them up this way, how hard would it be to knock them all down? Really hard. But when you choose to use your time purposefully, you can put them together. It's concentrated and one begets another, right? The law. So it's kind of like lining up the dominoes where you knock over the first one. If you just time block, you set up the appropriate amount of time, which is what?
3
hours.
hours.
3 hours a day.
Are we all in, you guys?
All in, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you. We line them up or we set them up like bowling pins because guess what? You can get other people on board. There's tools that you can use. You can store provisions in your time block. If you treat it with enough respect, you're going to treat it like a $3 million listing appointment. Anybody in here not going to show up for a $3 million listing appointment? I don't see any hands.
Only if I'm dead.
I think you weren't here for the dumb comment section. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just going to give you a hard time. Okay, so what I mean, here we go. What's under the hood? Who's going to read? Can you read this one for me, Haley?
Question, what's under the hood of a great real estate career that keeps it successfully running and running and running? Answer, lead generation.
There we go. Or relationship building, right? How does the power of one relate to lead generation? There we go. We already talked about it. This course helps you establish one habit, 3 hours of lead gen. So when are you going to do it? Because that's really, I mean, honestly, by the end of this course, you're gonna realize that it's actually, we're gonna put it on your gang schedule, or you're gonna put it on your mega agent schedule, or you're gonna put it on your partner schedule, and you're gonna be accountability partners to making that actually happen. And you're gonna go, what would that actually do? What would 36 transactions actually do for you? Have you figured it out? No, we're gonna figure it out. What's the deciding factor in becoming the best? So it says time on task over time. So if you could literally, if you took talent, intelligence, motivation, personality, effort, I have all those things, but you do too, right? So be confident in what you have. Forgive my arrogance, all right? The performance formula of champions, consistent time put on a specific task over an extended period of time. Guess what? You beat talent every time. That's the way Gary says it. Time on task over time beats talent every time. Ooh, I just said that perfectly. That was pretty good, Brian.
That was good.
That was good. And if you had your manual, we would be on page 15 already, so we're moving fast. Woohoo! All right. Time on task over time. Boom, we already talked about it. Commitment to the single most important business outcome and number one priority for any real estate agent, buyer and seller leads. And I hate the word leads too. Say leads suck. Say relationships are great.
Relationships are great.
That's the essence. That's the essence. You don't want leads. You want relationships. And that's actually where most real estate agents are so funny, because they come into real estate and these are the three things they say. I love houses. Houses are so great. I just think, I just watch HGTV all the time. It's the best thing ever. And then they get into real estate, all of a sudden they hate houses. And then they'll say, I just really want to help people. I had a horrible experience in real estate and I want to be a good agent. They'll say that all the time too. Or they'll say, I had a friend that was so good and I just loved what she was able to do or he was able to do for me. And I was like, man, I want to do that. Wow. I look at their life from the outside and I go, wow, that just looks incredible. The freedom they must have. This is the hardest. I think this is one of the hardest jobs in the world. Honestly, I do. I really do, because we have to be marriage and family therapists. We've got to be showing assistants, buyer's agents, listing agents, a lead admin, marketing person. We have to be a negotiator. We've got to think of all the things that we have to do and all the crap we have to deal with. It's not easy, but the end result is epic if you do it well. All right. So the myths and truths. Okay, this is really good. This is really good. I hope you drank your coffee this morning. There are a few tightly held misconceptions about lead generation that we need to put behind us. Okay, here we go. Myth number one, not all leads are good leads. That's a myth. You're like, Tim, it says expletives in the email. You guys, have you ever seen those ones, right? The truth is, there are no bad leads in real estate. They're just not all equal. Because they all kind of represent a person. They all represent a state at which they are buying or selling or investing or thinking about it. Truly. I want you to think about this for this truth, and then we'll keep going. Imagine you really want an apple. Okay, and you're in an apple orchard, and you're walking along, and there's apples on the ground. Are you going to eat them? They probably smell, they're squishy, they're brown, not good. Flies, worms, yucky. So what do? You keep walking, and you're looking around for what?
The best apple to eat.
The best, I call it a ready right now apple. Okay? And then you reach up and you pluck one up and it's like, snap, and it comes, half the branch comes down. And then you take a bite and it's like, oh, God, sour. Sour apple. Was it ready? No. It was effort to pull that sucker down. You tried to wrangle it and get it off that tree and it wasn't ready. And instead it broke the tree. Not fun. That's not a ready apple. It's not a ready right now apple, is it? Nope. Okay. But eventually you come upon a perfect apple. That's the ready right now apple. And there are ready right now apples that exist in your current database. And there are ready right now apples that exist that are not MITs. And so if I told you that in this neighborhood of 200 homes, there's somebody that's ready to sell right now. There's a ready right now apple in this 200 home area. And they actually don't know the realtor. They're perfect. They're perfect. Would you door knock the 200 doors?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are ready right now apples. And so I wanted to say that with this truth. Not every door, it's just they're unequal. It's not that they're bad, right? Somebody's on your website, or somebody reaches out to you on an ad, or maybe you're paying for leads from pay-per-click or whatever, and it comes through and it's just an email address and a phone number and the name you can't even read, and I don't know. But you call it and leave a voicemail. Nothing. You text it, don't get a reply. But if you do that 8 to 12 times, statistics show that they're going to get back to you. Statistics show that out of 12 connections on any given actual real information, that they should get back to you in that amount of time, somehow. Now, that's not necessarily always going to be the case, but is that a person that's getting all that? Yeah, and maybe they're ready, maybe they're not, maybe they've been searching, or maybe they just have fun looking. And they own 20 homes already. I don't know. Sounds like they need 21. All right, so here we go. Myth number 2, lead generation is really hard. Anybody feel that one? I know I have felt that one. Sometimes. When I finally committed, and the first time I took Bold, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it 3 hours. I remember talking to my team and the whole thing. I remember coming back and going like, I'm really going to do it. We were so busy in 4 weeks. 4 weeks went by and we hit a ceiling. Talking about ceilings, if you can see who in Bold is actually doing it. You can see who's really doing the activities in Bold because they start having a midlife crisis breakdown. Why would I say that? Because they're so busy. They can't handle all the business that's coming from it. And that's where the crazy cycle keeps coming. That's where this happens. They call it the roller coaster in this. But the lead generation is not hard. If you actually touch base with your people and set coffee dates with your friends to go sit down and talk with them about what you're doing, or about what they're doing first, you always make it about them first. Always. Hey, let's get together. It's been way too long since we've chatted. It's been way too long since we've gotten together. We should get lunch. And that would be fun, right? Let's talk about your totes adorbs. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it. We should get lunch. Like not next week because it's going to be insanity because I'm off all this week almost until Friday. But I'll say the following week. Cool? When we sit down, it's going to be about her. It's going to be about what she's doing. It's being about how things are going, any hurdles that are coming up. I'm just going to be a listening ear. There's tears that come out sometimes. My marriage isn't going well. You know, I'm really struggling and how things are working. My faith, it's just a raw, you know, I feel like God's left me. Like, wow, sometimes stuff comes out. And when you're just that person, because that's what being in a relationship. It's being in a relationship. People won't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. You've heard that quote before, Zig Ziglar, great one. So reach out with the intent of relationship. If you don't like relationships, don't be in real estate or become a transaction coordinator. For real. Let's get real. Truth here. Are we talking about truth?
Yep.
Say, I want the truth, Tim.
I want the truth, Tim.
All right. I'm coming to bring the truth. And the truth will set you free. Lead generation is really simple and easy. So be careful that you don't confuse effort with enjoyment.
Guilty.
Oh, right? Guilty. Wait, say it.
Yeah, definitely. I was a lot of coffee appointments. Been in for almost a year now, and I put that above everything else, and I've had to punish myself for it, really.
Yeah. But you were in Bold and you saw the results. Like there was a moment you stood up in the thing and you had like 13 new clients in like 1 week, right? Yeah. And it was a lot of work.
Yep.
Now, not all of them were ready right now apples.
Nope.
But some of them were. Ish.
Thought they were.
But they don't leave your database, and that's another key factor. I'll just say that right off the cuff, on the side note. They never leave your database. You keep dripping on them.
Yep.
And they can become something in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years even.
Yep.
Once you have their information and they go in your database, they just constantly are dripped on with valuable information. And remember, when I said you're gonna meet with coffee, or you're gonna have lunch, or you're gonna whatever, make it about them, inevitably they'll ask you about you. They just will. They'll have said enough.
It's automatic, they'll ask.
It's automatic. It is automatic. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. It is automatic. They will ask about you and you'll go, yeah, I'm actually, building my business. And they're like, building a business? I thought you were a real estate agent. You go, well, I found out that actually being in real estate is actually truly just running a business. It is. It's running a business. So self-promote, and you're no longer just a realtor. You're a business owner. And if it's to be, it's up to you. The quote is, if it's to be, it's up to me. But there you go. Myth number 3, I'm too busy, I don't have time. The truth, it's not an issue of having time. It's an issue of making the time. Remember what I said, if you give lead gen time the priority and you say, okay, this is a $3 million listing appointment every day of the week, you're gonna miss that time.
Nope.
Could you make $3 million worth of real estate in that time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is it gonna happen every time? No. I'd say for every 5 days of actual committed 3 hours of lead generation time, that's $1 million. It's $1 million worth of real estate here in Springfield. All right, surrounding areas. $1 million is potentially possible for every 3 hours of lead generation time, with the amount of lead potential, with the amount of relationship building, with the referral potential, however you decide to devote that time. Because technically you could say, you know what, being a realtor is great and everything, but I'm just going to set that aside and I'm just going to concentrate on attracting great agents to this company that's changing lives. Holy snap sauce. I had no idea Keller Williams is all about building a business. My friends at other brokerages, they're like dying on the vine. They don't get any kind of this training. They should get this training. There's a guy that I love in Keller Williams who literally made that his focus. He stopped being a realtor. I think he let his wife kind of handle some of his transactions as they kind of came about. But he just devoted all of his time to lead generation for agents and attracting them to KW. And now he's the #1 profit share earner in all of Keller Williams. He makes like $900,000 a year in profit share. Passively. Like, oh no, I wonder if it's going to close. No. Oh no, the lender just told me they bought a boat in the middle of the transaction. No. He just receives the check on the 21st of every month. What's $912,000 divided by 12? Somebody do the math on that and get back to me.
It's like $92,000.
Do that. Do the math. I want to know what that is.
$76,000.
$76,000 a month. Anybody want to sign up for that? Yeah, sounds good. If you didn't raise your hand, get out. You guys feel me? You can direct lead gen time to whatever it is you want. Business to business relationships. We've talked a lot about that. You're a rock star with that.
Thank you.
Business to business is one of the greatest ways I took my business. You want to talk about going to the next level? You want to talk about breaking through a new ceiling? You've got your database, sure. People that know you, love you, care about you. You've got open houses and, your marketing in the newspaper and some online leads or whatever. Sure. Business to business, guess who answers the phone? Businesses answer the phone. And if you can become the reliable resource for a business, get ready. Guess who went and spoke at bank things, right? I'd go to Wells Fargo Bank is really big where I'm from in Northern California. And I would literally go there and do buyer seminars. And I would actually speak to the staff, to the leadership team at banks. You think you're going to become the reliable resource for people that have a lot of money and understand how money works? Really quickly. And guess who they know? People that have money. And are their realtor friends doing that? No. Do the stuff that no one else is willing to do. Did we read this one?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, no, we didn't.
We
didn't.
No.
Go back. Somebody read this one. Top.
I don't have to lead generate. If I do a good job, people will just come to me.
Isn't that the truth? People, you got into this business thinking that I'll just do such a better job than most people and people will just call me. Nope, they won't. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had a really great connection with somebody at an open house. Like really genuine, like we're talking about kids, we're talking about family, we're talking about life stuff sometimes. Sometimes I've had really deep conversations with people at open houses. And then you leave and you text them later and you say, hey, it was so great meeting you. By the way, I saw this other house that looked like it was similar to what you were talking about. Let me know if you want to go see it. Nothing, ghosted, weeks go by. Like, what the heck? Was that completely fake, you faker? I was being genuine. My feelings are hurt, right?
Yep.
New generation. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Because you're fun. Yeah, I feel broken up with. All us high eyes are like, I just can't do this. You go home, kick the dog. No, you don't. The truth is, you do have to lead generate. Some people will find you, but not enough or soon enough. Remember, the ready right now apples are going to fall. They're going to fall to the ground, and they're going to use a bad realtor, and it's going to look ugly. Let me tell you, there's a lot of bad realtors out there. Who's recognized that by now?
Nobody.
Yeah. They don't get back to you on time. They're rude. They think they're hot-headed. They've got unvalidated arrogance. Like, dude, you suck. Why are you treating me this way? I looked at your numbers. You don't sell crap. You just sent me a dissertation request for repair. This is awful. Do you want the deal to fall through? Do your buyers no longer want the house? Right? There's a lot. Save the good clients from using bad realtors. Sound good? I want to create an army of good realtors that want to save the client. You should be fired up that people use bad realtors.
Hi, Brandon.
I was.
I'm good. How are you?
If you were my client, we'd have a great time. Guess how many clients, agents out there have white knight syndrome that's like, don't worry, Maria, I will protect you. And I'm going to make them pay for everything. And then when the deal falls through, you're like, I wanted that house. This is the truth. Don't be a white knight syndrome agent. That's my terminology for it. But we're going to keep going. Myth number 5. Can somebody read that one?
I can't lead generate because I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say.
I can't lead generate because I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say. Guess what? Scripts are internal or they're external. But believe it or not, this is a big. Okay. I'm all in, Tim.
All in,
Tim. The clients have natural scripts internally and they're real to them. What they say are the scripts they're using. What you say in return are the scripts you're using. How good are your scripts? I'll tell you, if you can't overcome some objections, your scripts aren't very good because their scripts are real and your scripts need to be real. Okay? So if the guy says, I think I want to back out of the house, you should respond with questions. Most of your overcoming objections should be questions. But I'll tell you, what they say and what you say, you're in a battle. And you should see it that way. I need to overcome what they're saying in order to get to the truth. Say the truth.
The truth.
You need to get to the truth. You need to uncover what the hurt is. You need to uncover what the fear is. Hurts and fears on a buyer or a seller can kill the deal. Man, that's a good quote. I should be quoted on that one. Hurts and fears, if not drawn out, if not taken care of, will kill the deal. Big time. So truth is, lead generation is a set of tasks and skills that are well understood and easily learned. It's true. They're really easily learned. And honestly, most of the time, the scripts that we use at script practice or whatever, you can come to me and say, Tim, I'm getting this objection. You can schedule a half an hour with me and I will help you overcome all the objections you want. In the car business, people walk onto the lot and they're looking around, tire kicking, right? And a salesperson comes out, hi there, can I help you? Or what can I do for you today? No, thanks, I'm good, I'm just looking, right? Yeah, and it's your job to overcome that, help them feel comfortable, help them feel, right? And I'm saying car business, but I'm gonna say it's the same thing. People walking in the house, they just wanna see the house, they wanna get their thing and don't be bothered and let me be me. Don't make me sign in, right? But it's important to know that how you say what you're gonna say and how other people are gonna react and how they're gonna say what they're gonna say. What they're gonna say is natural and you have to be better at your scripts than them. All right. And it's easily learned. We talk about scripts. Josh, how often do we talk about scripts?
Usually never. Every day, multiple times a day.
I mean, literally, it's like probably 3 times a day.
My wife tells me to stop scripting with her.
I know it.
That's a statement. Actually, she doesn't like it. Right?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't script your spouse.
You lose.
Every time.
You may win,
Yeah.
but you lose.
Yes. But honestly, they're simple phrases. They're simple phrases that can be learned and brought in, right? My favorite one. Come on in, check the whole place out. Before you leave, I'd love to know what it is you think about the house. I don't know how many times I've said that. Probably 3,000 times. How natural did it come across? You know why? Because it was genuine. I really want to know what they have to say about the house. And it gets them comfortable. And then by the time they come back out, then you're like, hey, so what'd you think? And they go, oh, well, it's not for us. And you go, okay, cool. So you're thinking of moving, you know? And they're like, oh, no, we're not. You go, okay, you're an investor. They're like, no, I'm a neighbor. And you go, oh, I love the neighbors. Neighbors are my favorite. They go, really? You go, yeah, you guys live in this neighborhood. You know this neighborhood. Tell me, why'd you move here? You hear all these questions I'm asking? Mm-hmm. Questions draw people out. By the end, they're like, oh, our kids should have a play date. We'll set it up. If you draw people out, how often are they being asked questions about themselves? These are scripts, honestly. They're just what I'm saying, isn't it? Surely. Myth number 6, Christian, read it.
I don't need to lead generate. I have enough business.
Oh, truth, read it.
You do need to lead generate. There is no such thing as too much business.
So if you feel like you're too busy, that's because you're not leveraging appropriately, and that would help. There's never too much, because business is business and they deserve to work with somebody great. If you're overburdened, that means you're not getting the support you need. Cool? And man, we could go deep on that one. That's a whole other class. Myth number 7. Who's got it?
The baby.
I don't have anyone to help me do everything that must be done.
This one comes right after that last one, doesn't it? I don't have anyone to help me do all the things that must be done. The truth is, read it again, Justin.
I don't have anyone to help me when you get enough of the kind of leads that turn into closings, you will be able to afford all the help you need.
That's the truth, people. When you're so busy that you can't handle it all, guess what comes? A lot of money. And guess what I want for you is to help you hire a talented person to come and fulfill all the stuff you shouldn't be doing in the first place. It's really funny how that really turns out to actually make your life worth living. When you're so busy, can't do it all. Let me tell you. So, myth number 8. Who's got this one? You got that one?
I don't have the money to lead generate.
You know what's great is there's lead generation things that don't cost any money. You're like, what are those things, Tim? Read the MREA. There's about 40 of them. But I would say you could go to open houses. You can, if you don't know what camping is, you can come see me. Or maybe I'll do a class on what camping is because I created it, right? And if anybody's done it, it's freaking fun. I don't know. You did it a couple times, I think, right?
I've done it 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times. But basically, it's an impromptu open house without using signs on a vacant listing in a walkable neighborhood that's new to the market. Truth, lead generate doesn't have to cost money. Boom, there you go. Myth number 9, I can't lead generate because I'm not a natural lead generator. Maybe you haven't done it a lot, But guess what? If you're purposeful about it, it's just talking. Do you not have any friends? Maybe I would listen to that if they literally had no friends. And then I would say, don't be in real estate. Get out of my office. If you can't be trusted with a friend, then you shouldn't be in real estate. Because we are in the relationship management business. Okay? No one is truly a natural lead generator. Everyone must master the skills, though. I would just say that it's becoming more purposeful about it. It's going from, remember, E to P, doing what comes naturally in the beginning, and then moving to what comes unnaturally to help you what? Break through the barrier. All right. Challenge. Your challenge is to do 36 transactions, 12 months by spending 3 hours every workday lead generating. Question, what can I spend 3 hours doing every day that will do more to build my business than lead generation?
Nothing.
There's 0. Let's break down. Here we go. Don't settle for average. Anybody maybe took Quantum Leap with me, heard me talk about this little thing. Imagine your little son or daughter or nephew or niece comes in and they said, I have my report card. And you go, oh, that's so great. And they come over and they go, yeah. And you look at it and it says math, C, English, C, language arts, C, science, C. And they go, look at that. And you're like, yeah. And they go, yeah, I'm average, just like you. Ouch. Okay. Anybody want their children to be average? No. She laughed at that one. No. I don't want you to be average. Say, I don't want to be average.
I don't want to be average. I am not average.
Right? You're just smiling at me. He wants to be average. Okay. The only way to not be average and not have an average real estate career is to what is this? Consciously decide not to. Remember in BOLD, a life by default. That's literally what BOLD stands for. Business objective, a life by design, not by default, which means you have to decide something. So make the decision. The goal. Okay, here we go. 36 transactions. Make money and be profitable. Sound good? Yeah. Build a solid foundation for your career. Help families buy and sell. Know what lead generation activities you do well and which you need to work on. Establish skills and habits. Gain respect and recognition. Earn dollars and the right to hire an executive assistant. Because if you're making the money from the deals that you're doing, you can hire somebody. Fantastic. Anybody not want these things? Any one of those arguable? Huh? Say no, that sounds pretty good.
Sounds great.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. So you're gonna write on a blank piece of paper, and we're gonna take 5 minutes to do this. You're gonna answer each one of these questions. What will 36 transactions mean for you? Mean for your GCI? Write that one. How will this change your life and your career? Write that one. And what will you be able to do for yourself and for others? So I'm gonna set a timer. I want you to do that. If you have questions or want help, raise your hand and I'll come over and help you. But I want you to put some time into it.
Would you write all this down for me?
Oh, my land.
I'm trying to leverage off this writing.
Oh, I love it.
you're talking about. It's like me.
Baby sounds.
I enjoy my sleep. I enjoy my sleep.
Oh, remember? It used to be like to sleep. Like 2.5 more minutes. Remember what it says. It says, what does 36 transactions mean to you? What would it mean to you? Not just what it would do for you. Right? What it would do for you is one thing. What it would mean for you is another. Less than 2 minutes. One more minute. While some of the people are finishing up, why don't you share? Who's willing to share while we're giving some other people some time? Anybody want to take one of those? No. Let's go back here. Yes.
Okay. Mine would be 108,000 in GCI, which would pay off all of our revolving debt, real estate debt. And that would allow my husband to be more secure in retiring from the police department.
Love that.
And Cooper's College paid for. Bailey's is not yet. And then we could begin investing in real estate and create passive income.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, who else? Yes, sir.
So I calculated the average home being $200,000. That would be 7.2 million in real estate sales. Somewhere between 180 and 216,000 gross commission income, depending on the actual percentage.
GCI.
Yeah, GCI, which would mean for me a sense of accomplishment and freedom from money stress.
Love it. And if you go a little bit deeper, you go, okay, now what would relief of money stress do for you?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't do anything different in my life. I wouldn't buy a bigger house or a fancier car. I would just be glad that the stress of money is lifted off your shoulders.
What do they say? I mean, stress is one of the biggest killers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're it's like stopping smoking. As far as what it does to you, it can create all kinds of horrible things. Stress on your marriage, stress with your kids. It's just like that stress permeates into other things. You don't sleep as well. If you're not sleeping as well, you get more stress. It's like a cycle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I love that. It's like, darn right. So how valuable is that 3 hours to do what you just said? All right. Anybody else want to take one?
I may have taken it a little too far. I took it times 4 because we have 4 agents on our team and the numbers get really crazy.
Good. Okay,
sorry.
wait, I love what you just said. This is really big because I had that aha moment. Okay, I was talking with my maths coach, and I was talking about our new goal, which was 35 million. And he said, "Why don't you want to do 40?" And I was like, "Sure, I'd love to do 40." And he started asking me what it would need to be. And so I started mulling that over a little bit. So I went back to my team eventually, and I actually totaled up after doing an exercise called the quantitative income goal to actually know what they needed to make in order to fund their life. And then we took that number, what they needed to make in order to fund the life that they wanted in a way, I mean, like realistically. And then we found out how many transactions they each needed to do. So it wasn't just 36 for each person, but it was whatever it was. And we came back, and what my new goal, not my goal, but the team goal became was over 40 million, it's 42 million in volume, right? So I love what he just did is he took the team's need and made it the bigger goal, right? So remember, there's a great quote and it says, "If my people aren't succeeding, how well am I leading?" And as a leader, that hurts. As somebody that's responsible, like I want you all to succeed and not all of you will, sadly. And I'm like, dang it. It's kind of like, you're watching Saving Private Ryan and you're on the boat and we're all about to go into something where not all of us are coming out. Does that make sense? So I love that. Being a leader where you're looking out for your well-being of your people. I love that. All right, shall we continue? Anybody else want to share? Burning desire? Okay, we're good. Here we go. The time, 12 months. So remember, this is 12 months from now. I wouldn't try to really put this into the rest of this year. The whole goal of 36-12-3 is that it is 12 months. Don't try to shove it all into this year. Does that make sense? It is a 12-month thing. Yeah, there you go. You're planting seeds. Oh, there's a comment. Wait. It would allow, here. Okay, so David Caldwell says, thanks, David. It's good to see you. I actually, it's good for you to see me. It would allow me to have a real estate business and not to be the business. Oh, I like that. Would be able to hire the personnel and operate like a business. Yeah. So once you hire and you actually have things that are being done for you, and by the way, there's things you could have done for you right now that you don't realize based upon the people that are around you, whether they're young people that are like, 13 years old, and you say, hey, if you want to eat tonight, you're going to do, no, I'm just kidding. don't do that. But what I'm going to say is there's relationships around you that have children that want their first job experience. They can intern. I literally created an internship development program because my wife had been an intern. She literally created the internship development program for all of Northwestern Mutual and out of San Francisco. It was ridiculous. So I'm like, hey, could you just do that again for me? So we literally had like 10 interns that needed their first job experience that were between 17 and 20. It was awesome. So you have things around you because they're getting work experience and then they have that to put on their resume. There's value to them. And sometimes we pay for lunch. There's people around you that want to get their stinking teenager off their couch. Go do something with your lazy bum, right? Mm-hmm. The parents want that. So you could say, hey, anybody have a teen that's sitting in their bed all day and that wants to get them into a job and they're techie? Most of them are because they're on their what?
Computer all the time.
They're on their computer and phone all the time. They could be on their phone and computer for you for almost nothing. If not nothing. Okay? Brad Corn. When you fumble, don't just drop the whole thing and quit. Get reorganized and stay in it. Okay, this is important. Here's time. Here's results. And this is unrealistic. Do not think this. Do not think that you're just going to start and it's going to start flowing and you're just going to start closing deals immediately. No, it is what they call a hockey stick type, where you're going to do it, nothing. All of a sudden it's going to go wham, and honestly, if you get systematized and meet with me regularly or meet with your coach or have your team leader person that you report to helping you, guiding you, you'll be able to keep this. But if you don't, it'll do this. Bah! Bah! Like that. Truly. That's what will happen.
How'd that go again, Tim?
Bah! Yeah. Where are you today? This is another exercise. We're going to take 5 minutes. I want you to use that same paper or use, another paper. And I want you to answer these questions. Where are you today? Go ahead and start that. Talent seeks reality. Talent, and I want you to be talent. You're seeking reality. Let's look at really where we're at. We can't move forward unless we know where we're at. And if you need help, raise your hand. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Some of these can be easy, like 0. Hey! But honestly, I want you to rethink that. If you wrote 0 on any of these, I want you to realize that if you spend time with your friends or your relationships, that you actually did. Because that means you need to change your mindset on it. Hi, down here in person. Hey, she is real. All right, we all pretty much done? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody want to share? Any ahas from this? Anything big drawn out? Yeah. Do it. Yeah. Just do it. Well, if you're brand new, yeah, this is like, I've got this. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Get ready. All right, here's a funny quote. It's sad, but it's kind of true. Is that no goal survives its collision with reality. Life will happen. Stuff will come up. You will get torn away, especially as a team leader. Okay? I get constantly interrupted, and that's that focused time on task. Focused time on task over time beats talent every time. If I was up against somebody else and they had their focused 3 hours of lead generation, their door was closed, their headset's on, and they're just slamming it out, and I'm like talking to somebody, get in there, make a couple calls, talking to somebody, make a couple calls, go teach a class, come back, try to make a couple calls. That sporadicness, actually, I have to re-energize, refocus, get it back into the mindset. You're just focused with it. You commit to it and block it in. Store provisions. If you get hungry, you've got your snacks. Like Dan Holt, if his blood sugar gets low, you got like slow down versus like super fast in. Right?
Right.
Yep. All right. Nothing? We're good? You guys ready to move on? It's not moving. There we go. The habit, 3 hours. Who can read for me? Because my voice is going to run out. Would you be willing to read?
It all begins with a single high archive
Achiever habit.
The habit of lead generating 3 hours per day, every work day.
Every day.
More than 150 successful agents interviewed about their lead generation habits. Time block your 3 hours before noon when possible.
I remember this like it was yesterday. My top coach, his name's Steve Cow, he literally said to me, your day can start at 11. And I was like, not really sure I know what that means. And he goes, all hell can break loose after 11. There's nothing so urgent that you can't get back by 11 to what needs to get done. I was like, yeah, it actually is kind of true. Something about real estate, something by 11 o'clock, if you're finally getting to your emails, nobody's really that upset. Your day can start at 11. Luckily, I mean, I have hired people now, but you don't maybe. And guess what? If you time block this in and you get your mind right in that 3 hours and you just commit to that sucker, all of this falls into place. It really is the power of the one thing. Before noon, because the afternoon goes crazy. That's why we typically don't do classes in the afternoons, because people's day gets crazy. Sorry, I can't make it. Sorry, I can't make it. Sorry, I can't make it. Over and over again. The chances of people's day getting away from them is extremely high. The habit, 3 hours a day. You're going to get really good at lead generating over time. I'm telling you, you get good at it. And it becomes like a habit, right? It feels weird after a while if you don't do it. You're like, ooh. Gary says it in Ignite. The day you don't lead generate, 90 days later, there's no money. Interesting. Make your 3 hour commitment a part of your daily routine, like brewing your coffee. I get up in the morning, I get my robe on, my cozy robe. You're jealous of my robe. But I will say, you get your robe on, you go make your coffee. It's kind of like that. You have a routine and it becomes part of your routine. Adopt a new attitude. I'm a lead generator before anything else and above all else. You are in the relationship management business. If you do not do this, you won't be in the business. Does that make sense? The 3 hour lead generation rules. Time block 3 hours every workday before noon. Man, you see that? I think it's pretty much on every slide. No skipping. If you erase a 3 hour session because you've got an inspection to go to, you got to replace it somewhere. Oh, that's when it becomes extreme accountability. You want to talk about your whole life getting upset at some point? Try doing 2 3 hour sessions back to back. Whoa. Okay, get real for a second. Actually, everybody stand up real quick. I don't want to have Drew's drowsiness. Stand up. Okay, give yourself some room. Stretch it out a little bit. Because I want the last half an hour, 45 minutes to actually be focused. Ready? Okay, stretch it out. Reach down, touch your toes. I can't touch my toes because I'm a high jumper. People that have a hard time touching their toes can jump higher than most people. Did you know that? Go ahead and sit down. Fun fact. All right, I want you to hear something. This is super important, and I talk about this. If we've been on a one-on-one, and if you heard me say what I would do if I wasn't the team leader and I had to start over here, not having a database, I think you and I have talked about this. Maybe you and I have talked about this. I can't remember who else I talked to about this, but I would say if I had to start over right now, today, and I was licensed in Springfield, just like you are, and I have no database in here, other than you guys, which are just other realtors who are just now my new competitors. right? I would go out and I would lead generate all day. I have nothing else to do. I don't have contracts. I don't have anything. I don't have deals going. I don't have a database. I've got nothing. I'm going to go out to where clients are. And I would go, I've done it before. I would go down to the coffee shop and I would put a $200 tab on the thing. And I'd have sometimes like a friend of mine or like maybe one of my team members. Well, this is what I've done before, but I've just paid for $200 worth of coffee at the coffee shop. So if somebody comes in, they go, oh, hey, your bill's free today. Tim over there paid for your bill. And they come over and they say, oh, thank you for paying for my bill. You go, yeah, actually, I do real estate. And sometimes it's nice to just chat about what's happening in the real estate market. I figure I'd pay for your coffee just for a conversation. And they go, oh, yeah. Oh, we don't own. Sorry. We go, perfect. It's always perfect, by the way. It's always perfect. Yeah. Okay. But I would go out and I would go to vacant listings that were in a walkable neighborhood and that were new to the market within the last 2 days. And I would just camp there and I would door knock 5 to the right and 10 across the street and 5 to the left. And I would literally just meet all the neighbors and get to know the market really fast. If I'm doing that literally every day, I'm where clients are and I'm going to call people that I meet and I'm going to follow up with the people that I met for coffee or the ones that I met at the previous day's open house or whatever it is. But every single day, all day, I would be at new houses on the market that were vacant. Otherwise, I'd have to schedule an appointment, right? Unless there's listings that are like at Keller Williams, we have a lot of houses that come onto the market very freshly. They don't stay on very long, do they? So you kind of want to be there for the first day or second day on the market if they even stay that long, right? But guess who's going by those houses? Buyers. A lot of people that are thinking about buying or selling. The neighbors are walking by going, oh, wow, the Joneses listed their house. And I'm there and I'm like, hey guys. And they go, I'd let them in, see the house. Right? I would just generate a lot of people that were thinking about buying and selling, and I'd get a ton of people's information. And you know what I would do? I would find a great agent that maybe is working in the office. Let's say, I don't know, you name an agent. Let's say Steve Cox upstairs on the second floor. Steve Cox, great agent. Let's say I got a luxury client. He'd be a great referral person. And I would say, Steve, hey, I got these people, they want to buy a $1.2 million house, and I would love to partner with you with these clients. Would you be willing to take them from here? We got 3 houses they might want to ride on, and we'll have a joint appointment with them. And we'll do what's called a handoff. And what would I do? I would literally meet with Steve and them, and we would meet together, and I'd go, hey, this is Steve. He's my partner on this with you. And I would love to have him, be a reference where if you couldn't reach me, you could always reach Steve. And Steve I would actually have him write the offer on the house that they do and take it from there. And Steve, as a partner agent with me on that client, would literally do the rest of the deal so that I could what?
Go get more business.
Continue. You're like, but Tim, you'd have to share half your deal. Oh no, I'm going to go get more. And guess what's happening? It's closing and being taken care of with agents that I trust that I actually partnered with on it. You can just do this. It's not hard. It takes some effort and time, but get good with your scripts and go out and lead generate all day. I mean, heck, the 3 hours makes sense at this point, doesn't it? But I don't like doing it from inside the building. I want to be where clients are. Can you make calls from out of the new listing? Say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Can you schedule your inspections and call your clients on where they're at in the contract from a home that's new to the market in a walkable neighborhood that's right? Yes. Yeah. You should be camping every day. That's what I call it, camping. Cool. Some of you are like, dude, that's freaking easy. And guess what? It's free.
Right.
So
Free to plant.
you time block your 3 hours. Yeah.
Free to print black and white.
That's right. You don't need to print anything. You have a mobile app, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't print anything. Every time somebody comes in, you share your mobile app with them. And I have a whole script I can tell you about that, but okay. No skipping, erase replace, no interruptions, boom, lead generation in progress. I love it. The habit of 3 hours a day. Let everyone know your schedule so that they will respect it. If you've got a team or you're on a team, you let everybody in. Okay, everybody, I'm going in my bunker. You got it handled? I'm not going to be coming out for 3 hours. They're like, okay, Tim, we got it. We're all in.
All in, Tim.
Yeah. Thank you. Treat the time like any other appointment. No interruptions. Remove distractions. Are you going to answer the phone when you're sitting in front of a seller? No. This is where I think it shows up really well. Tie the effort to the outcome. Predictable hours or predictable effort, the 3 hours. The predictable outcome, you're going to get leads. And the closed business and the income, sad, excited. Boring, awesome. You wrote down what it would do for you, did you not? You wrote down what it would do for you. Anybody want to share what it would do for you again real quick? Anybody? What was it going to do for you? I want to hear it again real quick.
I'll also say I can donate $5,000 to Rescue One, which is my favorite charity.
Ooh.
My goal is
I
10,000.
remember you mentioned it in the book club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10,000 is my goal, to get to 10,000 a year.
I love it. I love it. Super good. By the way, there will be no book club tomorrow because I won't be here. Here we go. Work with focus. Can you really multitask? We already kind of talked about this, but if you give 100% focus on one task, here's an analogy. You ready? Okay. You are going to chase down 2 rabbits. Go. Can't. Because what happens to the rabbits? Can you be 2 places at one time?
No.
To chase 2 things is to do neither. Focused attention. Focused time on task beats talent every time. There it is. All right, we ready? We're going to do an exercise. I want you guys to see that multitasking sucks. All right? So I want you to come up, and Justin, I want you to come up. Come here. This will be fun. Oh, bring something to write down with. Bring your pad of paper and a pen.
Does that have to be paper?
That could be that too. Okay. All right. Normally I have everybody do it, but it's going to be more fun to watch them because I want you to see it in reality. So we're going to do it twice. Okay. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to write. Do you have a song lyrics that you like? Just trying to think. I could have you write the qualifying question, but you probably don't know it by heart. You're going to write the ABCs, A through Z, and then you're going to write 1 through 10, and then you're going to look at me. All right? And you are going to go like this. You're going to write A1, look at me, 2, B, or B2, look at me. So it's the same exercise, just split up. All right? So you're going to go A through Z, 1 through 10, and then you're going to look at me for 10 seconds. Okay. You are going to do the opposite. You're going to write at 1, A, look at me. 2, or you know what I'm saying.
A1, look at you.
I can do dyslexic. There you go.
Remember. I got it.
All right. And I'm going to time it. You ready? We're going to see who can beat the other one. Ready, set, go. Keep going.
Stop, Justin.
You won? All right.
How far did you get? H.
H.
Huh. It's the same thing. Okay, now we're gonna reverse it. Okay, so stop.
About to get roasted.
Okay, so A through Z, 1 through 10. Look at me for 10 seconds. You ready? You're gonna go A1. Look at me. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Start.
Right?
At least I got him in front of me.
Okay, stop. All right. How quickly? Okay, so you made it to
J10.
J10. And he did all of it. Now, why? He was able to stay focused on that train, and then the next train, and then the next train. 3 trains of thought. He was having to go back to each one. This one, then that one, then that one, this one, then that one, then that one, this one, then that one, then that one. That's very different. Time on task, right?
Right.
Good job, guys. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Tim, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This sounds great on paper.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you stay and I feel like I have ADHD.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say,
just
it's really
literally,
easy
my
if you don't have ADHD.
mind is just like ping-ponging around on all kinds of different things at any one time.
I
How
know
do you
it.
stay focused?
Okay, so I have ADHD. So I literally can tell you this from experience. If I can do it, you can do it.
Okay, tell me how.
It goes like this. You get down, you have your list of people to call that day. You've made your list the day before. So by the end of the day, you have your list of who you're going to call the next morning. If you're trying to figure out who to call that morning, you will not make it. And I would just segment out your database. So I have 10 people from my database minimum that I'm going to call or text. But I shut out everything else so that I start off with that. Okay.
Okay, but when I can already see myself. I get the second person and then I'm thinking about something else I need to do. And I'm like, and trying to wrangle myself back.
Yes, it's true. So I have to silence my notifications. So that's one thing I have to do is I have to silence my notifications. So, and because I think on average, I think people are interrupted 47 times every hour. 47 times an hour you're interrupted, if I remember correctly. And that's from a ding, a blip on an email pops up on your browser, whatever, all kinds of different things. Somebody knocks on your door, they look in, whatever. But I would say it's the time on task is that you're putting the notes in. That's big for me. I have to have the notes. So my cell phone's right here. I've got my headset in. I'm not hearing almost anything else. And all I'm doing is looking at my list for who I'm calling and I'm making notes on here. Now, you're a little bit different. I would say I hand my notes to my director of operations. She puts on all the notes into the database. But before her, I was doing that too. So I was putting all the notes into my database. I have my command is right here. I've got my calendar right here. You've seen my office. My calendar's right here. My database is right here. And a web page is open right here with usually Facebook open. Because I want to look up if I can find them. And if I don't have them, if we're not a Facebook friend or an Instagram or whatever, I'm going to have that open. And on my sheet that's actually printed, my mom has to have things printed. I have learned this sadly, and I have to have it printed so I can make my notes on it. So I can give you, and I'm happy to share with you or give you a copy. You can make it copies yourself of my call sheet. And I make a minimum of 25 connections during that time. Okay, so I kind of reward myself. If I've used that time wisely, I've made 25 connections during that time. And that's why my sheet has 25 blanks on it. Okay, now I treat a voicemail as a connection. They've heard from me. A text message is pretty good nowadays. A messenger is actually better if they've got a Facebook profile. I like Messenger better because they're more apt to be like, oh, I got a messenger. It's more rare. It's not as normal as a text message. I get better response from Messenger than I do texts.
And you can see if they responded or seen it.
And you can see if they've seen it. True. Now, and that goes to your Instagram too. I mean, it's a little less. But, Twitter, whatever social medias you're on, LinkedIn is kind of like the pathetic one in my opinion, but it's the more pathetic, it's the more professional one. It's kind of like you got to have one, but you don't really do much with it. You know what I'm saying? It's credibility more than anything.
Isn't it just kind of for headhunters that are looking to hire?
No, I would say it was a part of its originality was for that. Yes. But it's like an online resume. But you should have it. If you don't have it, that does not bode well. Okay.
Can I throw one thing in there real quick?
Yeah.
Accountability, like a partner that you respect. Like you can't look at them at the end of the day and say, dude, I didn't do my thing. It's just that relationship, I've thought about it for us, just the end of the day phone call saying, just checking in, saying, because I can't let him down. He's not going to let me down.
That's right.
So
you're holding each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I'll tell you, you want an accountability partner, your small child. Oh God. Yeah, you actually give them a tangible reward. You literally say, okay, every day I get home, you're going to ask me if I did my lead gen time. And if I didn't do it, I have to give you $10, a Snuggly. I don't know. candy, whatever it is they want. And you want to know that somebody show up. Children have an incredible ability to remember things when it's in their favor. I don't have that. I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you, I hated going home to have my daughter, 5 years old. I remember she was 5 years old when I got to KW. And I remember hearing that, and it was like, oh snap. I would walk in, I remember, and she's like, Daddy, did you do your lead gen time? Like she could barely say it. And I was like, no, I didn't. Oh, yay! And she got, I think it was like $5, something like that. But it was like, she was excited because she got what she wanted, but I was demoralized that I didn't do it, and she was the one holding me accountable.
Well, in a sense, you're kind of letting her down, even in a bigger picture.
Yes.
I get distracted very easily, and
Okay.
so what I've learned is I just keep a Post-it note. If I think of something, and it goes at night when
Good.
you can't fall asleep, you
Good.
just write it down.
Yes.
So it goes off of you.
I have a little journal. You've seen it. It's red. It's on my desk. I have that exact thing. I will think of things in the middle of it, and I will have to put a pin in it. You know that phrase. Yes.
Sometimes it'll happen to me like when I'm in bed, where I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this. So I keep a pen and pencil next to my bed.
Perfect.
To do that.
You have a comment too, a chat.
Oh, thank you. Any scripts for Facebook Messenger? Yeah. David Caldwell just said any scripts for Facebook Messenger. I hope you're hearing me because that was a few minutes ago. It goes like this. I go, hey, and this is the thing. A lot of Facebook friends you haven't really connected with very often, right? So this is just going into those people that you kind of know or you kind of remember. You're like, I don't remember them really well, but you might not have messenger each other before. You say, hey, it's been way too long since we've hung out, or whatever the instance is. It's like, hey, we don't really connect very much, but I was going through my Facebook, and I'm being more purposeful this year about my relationships on Facebook. And I would just love to say, how are you? It has nothing to do about real estate. You're drawing back into what they feel about what they remember about you. Because if they respond, they liked the relationship. They want more from the relationship. If they don't respond, you can pretty much try 2 or 3 more times. And if nothing happens, I would just actually, stop making that a hardcore effort. Yes.
I was gonna say a lot with that too, with the engagement, is that you'll have like silent cheerleaders that you didn't even know existed. So the people that are constantly commenting or even liking, like I had people I went to high school with sharing my information. It's like, oh my gosh, like I haven't talked to these people in forever, but you keep track of that.
100%. That is pure wisdom. I am shocked at who's following me. Jen Swaby, one of my friends from grade school. Okay, I mean, not to say anything horrible. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'll say she went down a different path in life for many years. I don't even remember what happened, all of it, but I just remember I remember one day I saw her and I was like, whoa, things have changed for you. Like, does that make sense? and then later, she's like turned her life completely around. And she is one of my biggest cheerleaders. And she'll comment and message me now more than ever. Like, it's super weird. And I've gotten deals from her now and like all kinds of things just in the last 2 years. You never know who your silent cheerleaders are.
And it helps your ranking on social media for free, by the way, guys, for free.
Yeah.
It'll help increase your exposure.
But I don't want to get off that topic because it's a real thing. Staying focused, the journal helped me a ton. Having that little thing on the side. And I have a digital one now. I've actually just started, a month ago. I've really started trying to do it digitally. Samsung has this thing called Samsung Notes. And I just pull that up and it's got all my notes. Ideas, all kinds of things. Yes.
I saw from another agent too that struggles with the same thing, and she said, set up your phone somewhere and put it on time lapse and see how much you actually get accomplished. Like you recording yourself while you're working to see what you get distracted on, and if just having your phone put away, looking at you, that's like an accountability.
Interesting. I've never done that.
I mean, I find myself, I'm doing something and then all of a sudden I think about I need to check flights for a vacation, and then I'm like over here checking flights, and then I'm like over here doing something else, and I'm like, I'm ping-ponging around.
That's exactly
and then I just feel like I just got nothing
Uh-huh.
accomplished.
I know it.
What did I just do?
I know it.
Yeah, okay, no, I looked at the flights, but I still didn't book it. So then tomorrow I'm gonna look again.
Love that. What I ended up doing was making it a competition with myself. This is really good. I literally I wrote out, right, how many contacts I was gonna hopefully get to, 25. And let's say I only got to 10. The next day, I would try to beat that. Okay? But remember, if you're doing it every day, you get better at it. You've never done it before. Try writing your full-on, paragraph with your left hand. It's not easy. If you did it every day, it would get easier and easier and easier. So I would say that if you're committed to it, that's the truth. I have gotten way better over time than when I started. And so you're right. The journal thing will help a ton. Oh yeah, I need to do flights. Boom, back on task. Oh yeah, I need to pick up that on the way home. Pick this up on my way home. Back on task. Follow me? And you had a question, yes?
I just had a suggestion because I have the exact same problem and I write it down on task lists. But I do the little A to Z method or DT, D2, whatever you want to do that. And I have my database sorted by like first name, like by alphabetically. And I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do S today. And then I don't have to think about it. It's like, I want to contact like 25 S's. And when I've hit 25, I'll just see the tally mark, then I'm done for the day. So that way you're not thinking, kind of like you said, you're planning what you're going to do before you do it. That helps me.
The instructor manual for the course talks about how I really should be tapping in. Everybody in here should really be thinking about something that takes intensity. So like, let's say you were a pro swimmer, or you were great at badminton. I don't know, something that you had to do that was required intensity to be good at it. Anybody have anything that they have, was really intensity for them?
Like a mini triathlon.
It takes to do a triathlon is a lot of effort and time.
The mini is hard.
The what?
The mini is hard. It's like half the length. It's still a lot of training.
Yeah. How about you guys? What have you done sports-wise? Basketball. Would you say you have to be pretty intense to be good at basketball?
Very intense.
Okay. Channeling that level of intensity is what you should be. And that's what it says. Do you know how to channel and apply the intensity required to see the results you want? Man, how much ball did you have to play in order to play with the guys that play every day all the time at the court?
Hours a day.
Hours to be able to even be able to hang, let alone be competitive. Think about the intensity. Surgeons? Does that say surgeons?
Yeah.
Man, that looks weird from my angle right now. The intensity surgeons bring to their work, gymnastics to their sport, gamers to their play, painters to their art. You have to, this is an art form. If you're not committed to being really good at this, again, you're not going to see the results. It's got to have that kind of that burning fire in it. Like, watch me crush this. I am going to crush this today. And you get good at it. You get good at it. And it's fun. After a while, it gets actually pretty fun because you're connecting with all the people that are like, wow, you're on it. And I go, I know. You get confident in it. So what does intensity look like for you? Think about, there it is. Think about an aspect of your life that has required intensity, sports, military, circus acts. Those people, man, to be able to do the trapeze, how many hours do they put into that? It's insane. The level of physical fitness they have to have is outrageous. So I'm telling you, make notes about the environment, your behavior, emotions, thoughts, triggers, right? What's going to stop you from doing it? Remember, I said this a while back, and I can't remember exactly how I said it, but this is really important. People are often stopped from hitting their goal, not by obstacles, but by a clearer path to a lesser goal. It's easier to not do it, so I'll not do it. And that's what stops him.
Hey, tell me that again. That's gold.
Isn't that golden? People are stopped from hitting their goal most of the time, not by obstacles, but by a clearer path to a lesser goal. oh, I realized that hitting this goal would actually have me have to create habits that are up here and I'm here. And those habits sound like a lot of discipline. So I'll settle. Say, I don't want to settle.
I'm not going to settle.
Don't settle. You choose a goal most of the time for who it will make you into in the process of achieving it. You choose a goal so big that it creates the momentum habits that actually change the way you live. I mean, for real, the purpose of creating a goal is to create the plan, and half of the plan is doing lead generation. All the money in the world is at your fingertips if you literally commit to this. Remember what I said, if I were to start all over, all I would do is this. How good would I become if this is all I do? You want to be a great basketball player? You live, breathe, eat, sleep basketball. Dude, one of my favorite friends in high school was this short guy. He was only like I think he was right at 5 foot. Right at 5 foot. Short dude. Best basketball player I've ever played with. He lived, breathed, slept, dreamed about basketball. It was like Scottie Pippen. The guy was amazing. I mean, he could sink threes all day long. It didn't matter. And his ball control, I mean, he was so short. It was hard. That guy was a perfect example of what it takes to be time on task over time, because his height really did limit him. He never went pro, but he was like high up in college ball because he was so good. And now he runs a gym. He's a rock star. Who can read this for me? My voice is running out.
Now, how will you bring the same focus and degree of intensity to your 3 hours of lead generation every work day?
Yeah. You've got to have that real passion. Say passion. You have things in your life that bring out passion, and you kind of have to train yourself to bring that intensity and that passion to this because of what it's going to do for you. I guarantee you, if you really focused on it, if you got better at it, it would literally fall into place, and you'd find out how those normal things that were distracting you currently, that is just kind of a habit. But you bring in that new and you commit to it, and you bring that little intensity, like being great at basketball or whatever. Or I'm sure you did sports. What sport did you do? Ran. What kind of running?
Just cross country.
Cross country running. Dude, that takes severe discipline, does it not? When you started out running your first 6 miles, how'd that feel? It sucked. It shouldn't be and feel any different than that in this. So just commit and go all in like you would running, because running is a great analogy. This is the race marked out for you. All right, the anatomy of 3 hours. What to do in your 3 hours. Prepare, and I would say, honestly, you've done that the night before. If you commit that day, and even sometimes at the end of my thing, I've already got it set up. All I need to do is open that window, or it's actually just another tab that's behind. I barely ever turn off my computer anymore. I don't know about you guys, but I barely ever turn it off. Because all my tabs are open, I've got everything ready to go. All I gotta do is log in, and it's ready. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Take the action. Somebody read this bottom one. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
You've got to get into action. If you spend 3 hours a day on the MLS or tinkering with your database, you are not actively lead generating. You're kidding yourself.
Yeah. All of a sudden you get really good at cleaning your desk. You know
MLS is fun.
You know it. Okay, I need somebody else to read it because my voice is running out.
Oh.
Yes.
Lead generation is about both prospecting, seeking, and marketing, attracting business. What will be your prepare, take, action, maintain activities if you are prospecting for business? What will be your prepare, take, action, maintain activities if you are marketing for business?
Any thoughts there? Gary says you need to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Prospecting based. That's why this solid, consistent 3 hours is what's going to get you there. I kid you not. If I literally just stopped being a team leader and all I did was grow leads. I could grow this office's business if all I did was hand it out. That's one thing I know I'm really good at because it's just become a thing. Talking with buyers and sellers, creating relationships, helping people get inspired, growing their portfolio. Man, somebody comes in, they're like, oh, I already own a house. I go, great. You know what? You actually just have a forced way of saving with your actual house. The next one's your investment property. You don't own an investment property. I go, you're right. I go, I know. Let's get you your investment property. Let's start building your freedom plan. What's that? I teach a class called the Freedom Plan. It's really good. I'll get it at some point. But just go out and meet people, build relationships, grow it. This is the beginning, the power of one. The rest of these sessions is going to be about all the other fundamentals, right? But you have to be committed here. Otherwise, it all falls apart. That's the truth. That's the truth. You didn't know that when you were getting into real estate, this was the essence of it. You said yep.
Did not know that.
Yeah. The agony and ecstasy. You lead generate. Oh no, I have to do all that business. You lead generate. Oh no, I have to do all that business. And so you close business comes right after that. You lead generate, business comes. Right? So you're doing all of the real estate, and that's why you need leverage. That's why building a team is so important. That's why having the support around you to help you do it. Transaction coordination is the first step. Right? Thank God for transaction coordinators. There's a special place in heaven for transaction coordinators. I love them. They make my life happy. Right? Yes, we love them. So treat them really well. Kid you not. Bring them flowers. Bring them chocolates. Bring them something. Write them a note. Say, hey, thank you so much for helping me close my business. They deserve it. Caution, inconsistent lead generation leads to the real estate productivity roller coaster. I call it the crazy cycle sometimes, or I call it the EKG. It goes like this. Like that, remember? Yeah. Okay. I drew this dot earlier and I forgot about it. I just looked around me and I drew that dot. Which way is that dot going?
Nowhere.
Oh, it's moving. It's moving. Which way is it going?
Away.
We need more context.
If this thing was a ball, if this was a ball in space, it could go in any direction, couldn't it? Yeah. Gary likes to do this sometimes. I remember the first time he did it. He goes, you can only know by which way it was going or which way it's coming from. So literally, if it was going this way, if it was coming from this way, then you know where it's going, right? So which way are you going? That's one thing I was going to say is technically, you get to decide because where we're at. Who cares what was before? Who cares whichever direction it was going? Today, you can decide where it's going to go from here. If you're really going to commit and give that level of intensity and give that level of passion to actually use your time block. And let me tell you, everything's going to want to fight it. It's like a demonic thing. It's like it's coming after you. It wants to stop you. Everything. When you're running, you're like, like my daughter right now, she's so good at soccer. I love how good at soccer she is, following after her dad. So good. But she hates getting ready for practice. Oh, I don't know if I want to do soccer anymore. Like she'll literally say that. And then she'll come back from the practice or the soccer game, having like scored a few goals and she's like crushed it. I'm like, see? After I've spent hundreds of dollars on the hotel rooms and gas all the way up to Kansas City every weekend. Right? But it's about building that level of consistency and passion and take action and I don't know. It's that if it's to be, it's up to me. If your team is failing, how well are you playing? Right? You can decide which way the dot is going now, going forward. There you go. This is cool. I like this one because you've got the EKG, you've got the roller coaster, blah, 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 blah. Average. Who wants to be average again? Okay, good. Top producers are up here, consistency. But The closed business, steady lead generation, it actually doesn't stay there. If you start to leverage and you start to take action on the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent tools, it really starts to grow it. And that's why the Adam Grady teams and the Holt group and the other team, you know, we have reached new heights over time. Okay. Let's see. Wow, we're only on page 47. Okay, we have
15 minutes.
15 minutes. How are we doing?
All in, Tim.
Thank you. You guys doing all right? We'll finish strong? Okay. How to get off the roller coaster. Who's going to read that quote for me? Yes, Maria.
Do you have enough leads that if you close them properly, you'd be reaching your goals? You know what to do. Now go do it. Go lead generate.
Yep. Bruce Hardy. Go ahead and read that too.
He got back to the basics of lead generating on a daily basis. He listened to the wake-up call and got motivated.
Okay, so in the materials, there's a little story about Bruce Hardy. He's actually one of the regional owners of the Northern California, Hawaii region. I know him pretty well. He was in the book as well. And he did a radio thing. He was all into radio. And he has this great Australian accent. And he's like, howdy, this is Bruce Hardy. And I want to be your realtor. And he does this great little spot. Have you guys seen it or heard it before? No? Okay, it's really funny. He goes, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm applying for a job. And he goes, if I can't sell your house in 30 days or less, I will buy your house. Like, okay. And then he does this little thing that he does. But I'm telling you, he crushed it with that. He got so busy with that. Being able to handle the level of business that came from his radio ads was like, he had to grow. He was like forced to grow or die, basically, right? And a lot of realtors don't get off that bandwagon. They start actually saying no to how much business they get if they actually do their lead generation. Remember what I said about Bull? If people, you can actually see the ones that are starting to do it because they didn't have any business and now they're like overwhelmed. Say overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
People like to use that word way more often than it's true. Like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Or the guy's like, oh, I'm just really overwhelmed. Like, yeah, still have hair. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
You still have hair too.
I know. I'm just saying, you can see someone that's actually overwhelmed when you're in bold and they actually do the stuff. They're like, life is in shit. Their life shatters. Like, it's like, oh my God. Remember how you can juggle the balls of life? And this one is your health. This one is your fun, fitness, family, finances. They're all these balls that you're juggling, right? Well, some of them are made of glass. And if you drop those, they can either chip or shatter. And then there's other ones that are made of rubber and you can drop them and they bounce, right? Like you drop the health ball, you can die. Does that make sense?
Drop the health ball.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm telling you this for a reason. When you do this, because I'm believing and I'm hearing that you're actually committed to doing it, stuff's gonna happen. And I want you to be ready so that you have a whole office ready to help you. You have a leadership team that wants to help you. There's classes being taught for a reason, because the next classes are really how to handle what's about to happen to you if you really do it. But some of you are sitting there going like, I don't know if I want that. You go, okay, you can settle for your deals. That's fine. You can absolutely choose a lesser goal. That's totally fine. But 36-12-3 is about doing 36 deals in the next 12 months. And if you wrote down what you wanted, if you wrote down what it would actually do for you, then it will happen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Continuous lead generation. Can somebody read this one for me?
It's the difference between seeing lead generation as a set of single activities or events and seeing it as a discipline and as a mindset.
Discipline and it's a mindset. It really is. Truth. Continue.
Market shifts should not have much of an impact on your lead generation program, unless, that is, you don't have one.
It's true. But I'm going to say that is so true. One of my top, He was an actual agent, and then he became a regional director. And one of my good friends, and he door knocked 2 homes every day for 5 months. And he got so busy, he had to hire his wife. His wife quit her job. Their oldest daughter quit her job. And they hired 2 other people to handle the level of business that came from it, because he's a super funny guy, super handsome dude, really just good with people. He door knocked 200 homes a day for 5 months. And the amount of impact and business that was created by that literally got him on stages at every event of KW. Like, their business went from 0 to one of the top teams in all of the world in 5 months. Are you hearing what that looks like? It's like, how big can your world get? Right? I'm telling you, there is so much business. Remember when I said the 200 homes and there's one of them that's already right now, Apple? Remember that? He would just go find them every day for 5 months. How many homes is that? I think it was 500 homes.
If he did 200, it'd be 10,000.
There you go.
You said 2 at first, and then you said 200.
200 homes a day, every day, for 5 months.
That's a lot more. Hold on.
One
That's
apple,
like
but
100,000.
If you just got one, if he just got one, it was insane. I think it was like 500 in a year.
Yeah, that's 5 months.
6,000. 36,000 in that, like.
That's 36,000 homes he door knocked. Is that right? Okay, and then divide that by 500.
72.
So for every 72 homes, he got a deal. You hear that? If I told you to door knock 72 homes every day, and you're gonna get a deal every day, would you do it? That's kind of what we're talking about. Lead generation. And now, is it gonna be door knocking every day? That was his thing. That doesn't need to be your thing. But I think he hired his wife immediately to handle the follow-up, because she's really good at follow-up. That was kind of what she did. And this is real. The follow-up, that's where the fortune is, because you could go get all those clients all day, but if you don't stay on them, they'll fade away. The ready right now apple will fade. It'll get yucky. And you drop them. And then
somebody else picks it.
Yes, true. Someone else eats it. There you go. I like it. Yeah. Wired to win. Okay, somebody help me read. My voice is running out.
Are you wired to win? John Maxwell. How people see failure and deal with it, whether they possess the ability to look beyond it or keep achieving, impacts every aspect of their life. Being wired to win means putting failure in the perspective and adopting a mindset of achievement and success.
Yeah. And I would say you can choose to use the word success. I like the word significance, because remember, what you wrote down was significant to you. What you wanted and what you were going to get from 36 closing in the next 12 months meant something to you. That's significant. It's not even success at that point. Success, I think that most of you just being in this dang room have had a certain amount of success. It's about significance from this point. Remember, significance moves the dot, in my opinion. If you're committed to it with intensity and passion, that's where it happens. All right, somebody else, can you help me read it again?
Are you pointing me?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you wired for leads? A successful sales career is almost always defined by a long succession of no's before you ultimately get to a yes. In the discipline of lead generation, winning is having a rich pipeline of quality buyer and seller leads. Wired to win in real estate equals wired for leads.
Isn't that interesting? And that goes right to what we were just talking about. There were 72 no's to get those 500 deals out of that many doors knocked, right? Right?
Yep.
So you're going to get a lot of no's, but just know that every no you get is getting you closer to the yes. In fact, there's a great book about that. It's called 1,000 No's, something like that. All right. Are you wired for leads? Here we go. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent tells us that we are in 2 businesses, the real estate business and the lead generation business. Your job is to be a lead generator because you can't be a realtor without being a lead generator. You can't. You had to have the lead before you could actually be the realtor that was performing the duties of a realtor for the lead. Is your definition of lead generation holding you back? Limiting beliefs. Man, there is a ton of limiting beliefs. Exactly what you were saying. Like, I feel like I'm ADHD, whatever. They go, yeah, me too. But it's about overcoming that and be like, screw it. I'm going to just beat it. I'm going to beat it. Reading was really hard for me. It still is. But I'm going to say, I had to beat it. You did. You've overcome a ton of stuff. Like all those term papers you wrote in high school that don't matter at all. Limiting belief. And then an unlimiting belief. Let me read that.
Lead generation equals business relationship building, which equals opportunity, which equals financial independence.
Mic drop. That is it. That is it. Unlimiting beliefs. There's no ceiling in this business. There's no ceiling. 500 deals, door knocking 72 homes a day. There you go. The 4 goals of lead generation. Get an appointment for business. That is the truth. I'm glad we got there today, and I know we're running out of time, but I'm going to say the whole goal of lead generating is to get an appointment. And the appointment is directed towards real estate, right? Yep. So you get a referral, or you build a relationship for future business and referrals, and you increase your METs. All those things are accomplished in lead generation. All of those things are accomplished in lead generation. People won't know to use you in real estate unless they know you're in real estate first.
Yep.
So if you haven't done like a big post on your social media or a big mailer to all the people that came to your wedding, I don't know, just people that know you. People that know you, they need to know you're in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, you follow up with them and you go, hey, what you doing? Make it about them. You learn about them. They're going to ask you about you. You're going to say how cool this is and what you're really excited about doing, because there's bad realtors out there and you're going to save all the good people. And then they're going to go, oh, I know 3 other realtors. And you go, yeah, they suck. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. But do you hear what I'm saying? You got to be out there and you're going to get appointments. You're going to get referrals and you're going to build future business, which are your METs. All right, somebody help me read this one.
So where do you find leads? Leads are everywhere and ready for the picking.
They are.
If you don't go after them, someone else will.
They will.
In a large group of adults, approximately 8 to 12% will need a real estate agent this year. Ooh. Ask, what is the relationship opportunity here? Buyer, seller, future customer, a referral source? Dick Dillingham.
Dick Dillingham says, who will I find today? He's one of my mentors in KW. He's one of the owners of the Northern California, Hawaii region. He's going to be next. Oh, he's going to be the next entry in my database. That's what I love about the Command app with our consumer app. When I meet somebody, Maria, and we're hanging out and I'm like, oh, this is so great. And I go, by the way, would you like a list of everything that I know that's coming up on the market that hasn't quite hit yet? And you're like, yeah, that sounds great. Because everybody wants that. Everybody wants a list of the things that are coming up that you know about. Do you have to give them the addresses? Say no. No. But you can give, I'm telling you, it's the #1 way I got information from buyers and sellers at open houses every time. We're having a chat, we're doing whatever. I haven't gotten their information. They didn't sign in. And all of a sudden I say, hey, you know what, since you're going to be looking soon, or maybe, between now and next year, would you like a list of everything that I know that's coming on the market just from my own business that's coming up soon, that's not quite hit the market yet? And they go, yeah. You go, perfect. What number should I'll text it to you. And I've either just taken a picture of what's on my wall from my database or from my pipeline, or I have a data sheet, now it's just a Google sheet that I can share with people, right? And I can share it with you, but I'm texting it to your number. So what do I have? Their number. And then they go, actually, you know what? It would be even better. I'll send you my mobile app as well. And that way you can peruse it whenever you want. And it's going to protect your data because Zillow is buying everyone's data. And I want to protect you from that. If you've already sent them one thing, you know how easy it is to send them the second one? It's way easier. And then guess what? Instead of having to go in, go to their phone number that I just sent a text message, go to the contact, save it, blah, blah, blah. No, when I send them the mobile app, they get directly inputted in my database as a lead. Save you a ton of business or a ton of time, right? There we go. Training and implementation. Okay, somebody help me.
Together, training, implementation, and accountability will move your career to the next level. Attend your 36-12-3 training. Get out and implement what you have learned beginning tomorrow morning. Commit to 3 hours of lead generation every workday. Get into an accountability relationship to help you measure your results and continue to build great skills and habits.
Attending the 36-12-3 training. It's going to be hard to make this class every time. But I would say most importantly, I would say that it's going to help you create and line up the dominoes for you to handle the level of business that's very likely going to come to you if you really do this for real. So, yeah, who in here has been on their way to go show property or to meet a client at a listing or to go take a listing and they call and they say, sorry, I can't meet you there. Or they just don't even show up.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's the worst. Now, how good does that feel?
Not at all.
It's so disrespectful, it's mind-blowing. Think about this for a second. They didn't even have the audacity to be reasonable enough to text you or call you. Take 10 seconds to let you know not to drive all the way out to freaking Willard because they can't make it. So you're just driving out there expecting that they're a good person. And instead they decided to wreck your day. And whether they thought about it or not, they did. Because then they just had you spend how much money in gas? Right? How disrespectful. Don't be like that for yourself in regards to coming to the rest of the training. Be committed to coming to the rest of the training. Be committed to putting this on your lead gen time. Otherwise, all this hard work and me losing my voice for the next 3 days is all for nothing. Truly. And I can't care about your goals more than you do. That's the truth. What you wrote down at the beginning of this class about what you would get from actually doing this would change your life. And that's what I want. I wouldn't be a good team leader if I didn't want that. So help me help you. Cool? Because we're almost at the end of our time. In fact, we are at the end of our time. So we made it to page 55 of 80. And we were moving fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should see all the text that's written in your dang packet. It's a lot. I don't even know if it's possible to read it all the way from beginning to end in the 2 hours, let alone talk through it. So thank you for all of your time. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I'm going to stop the recording. Everybody online, David, thank you. Lindy, thank you. Any last comments before we convene?
Is there an evaluation to do for this one?
I love that you asked that. That's so nice of you. No. Some of the instructors might have it. I did not prepare it. So go out, be great, have a fantastic day.
Thanks, Tim. You as well, Tim. You enjoy your wherever you're going, next week. Be safe.
I'm out this week.
Yeah, this week. Tomorrow.
And I forget how I share pod.
Stop share.
Stop recording.